Guys, honestly, how far away is Alex Pereira from being considered the combat sports GOAT? I mean, if Henry Cejudo can claim the title of Triple C, Alex Pereira should be able to claim that title, like, right now, shouldn't he? Cejudo still calls himself Triple C. He's not the champion of anything at the moment. All right, guys, so as we know, this weekend, Alex Pereira, he's going to be going up against Jan Błachowicz. And first of all, who do you think is going to win that fight? I mean, Pereira is coming off one hell of a knockout that has just happened, like, so recently. Like, I think we're talking like, what, 4 months ago? Something like that. Like, it is a very recent knockout, and it was a bad knockout. We're not talking like a standing TKO. We're talking like a out cold knockout, which is a hard thing to come back from. But then again, he's had that long kickboxing career, and these things sort of just happen. He hasn't had like an MMA or a grappling career or a jiu-jitsu career where getting knocked out is something new and shocking to him that's only happened a couple of times in his MMA run. He's been kickboxing, he's been knocked out, he's seen people knocked out before and come back before. Plus, making that weight cut for him, like, we all knew that Pereira was a giant man, and he just shrank himself down, and that's all fluids, you know, and the fluids around the brain. Like, it'll be interesting to see how he comes back without having to cut so much weight, and how he's feeling and how his body will be moving. Like, it's going to be a whole new Alex Pereira, and that is quite a thing for Jan Błachowicz to figure out. Jan is one of those fighters where you don't know which one is going to show up on the day. Like, there is a very real possibility that Jan can out-grapple Pereira. There is also a very real possibility that Jan chooses to stand and strike with him. And if he does, my God, is he in trouble. You know, Jan has great grappling, and I feel like in that last fight with Ankalaev's legs were so torn up and so destroyed that if Jan had just chosen to push the grappling in the last 2 rounds, he would have easily gotten takedown and control, but he didn't choose to do that. He got caught up in the heat of the firefight. And that's something that could happen here with Pereira. Like, Pereira is a hittable guy. Every single fight starts on the feet. If Pereira is showing Jan openings, Jan might choose to engage in those openings and get caught on the counter. And I can really see a world, and my prediction would be that Pereira is the one that is going to win this fight. Now, to me, that's a shaky prediction. Like, I wouldn't be putting money on that. You know what I mean? I'd be putting money on Bobby Green. I'd be putting money on Justin Gaethje. I wouldn't be putting money on Pereira if I was you guys. But that is definitely I feel like, and my tip is going to be that Pereira is going to win this fight by knockout. And it's going to be on a counter shot somewhere in the 2nd round, 3rd round, something like that. Alex Pereira is going to win this fight. But the real question is Pereira, his legacy. If he wins this fight and moves up to fight Yuri Prochazka is always down to stand and bang, and that is another super winnable fight for Alex Pereira. And then you've got an Alex Pereira who's won 2 championships in the UFC and was a double kickboxing champion in Glory. And now you have to really ask yourself, is he the greatest combat sports athlete of all time? And I mean that, like, with sincerity. Because the interesting thing is, last time when he beat Israel Adesanya in MMA, that conversation already started percolating in the MMA community. Like, there was already people out there posting and talking about it. Like, Rogan was talking about it. So if he goes up and wins another title in a different weight class, again, you got Cejudo, who thinks he's Triple C, which is just the Olympic. Like, the Olympics is like the glorified amateurs. You know what I mean? Like, we're not talking Glory kickboxing. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I watched Alex Pereira's entire Glory kickboxing career. While I've been making the highlight clips, I've seen fights on YouTube. I've seen a couple of fights, but I'm not going to pretend like I'm some Glory kickboxing expert. But I do know that Glory kickboxing is no joke. And for him to become a double champ in that organization is serious work that needs to be respected. And then to go ahead and beat Israel Adesanya and become a UFC champion is serious work that needs to be respected. Like, if you're going to respect Michael Bisping as a champion, the man who won his belt because Luke Rockhold didn't care, then you have to respect Alex Pereira as a champion. And if he goes and gets himself another belt, that's 4 championship belts across 2 divisions, across 2 weight classes. And if you're an Israel Adesanya fan, yeah, Izzy's got 1 win on him. It's still 3-1. So if Izzy's a GOAT, Pereira has to be a GOAT just by the numbers. Just by the numbers alone. If Aldo is still considered a better champion than Volkanovski because of the numbers, let's keep it real. Let's use the same argument. Pereira is still a better fighter because of the numbers. If John Jones is a GOAT, even though he's been a drug cheat multiple times because of his numbers, then let's keep the same energy. Alex Pereira is a better fighter than Israel Adesanya because of the numbers. And then that brings us, of course, to the end of Pereira's career if he does end up winning this championship. He's got 4 belts. And let's be honest, the trolling and the fun that can be had with Alex Pereira sitting a weight class above Izzy as a championship, if the entire MMA community and all the shit talkers online are calling him the combat sports GOAT, Israel Adesanya's boogeyman, it makes it very, very hard for Israel Adesanya to go up and challenge for another belt. It's already difficult for Israel Adesanya to go up and challenge for another belt, and you know that he'd love to be champ. It's something that he's had in his mind in the past. It's something that he's wanted to do before. He's gone for it before. And I do believe that when he sees Yuri Prohaska, he sees someone that he can strike with really, really well and sees a way that he can get that belt. Or when he sees Jamal Hill, he sees someone that he can strike with really well and find a way to get that belt. But if the universe should open up to us and Alex Pereira is the one sitting on that throne with that belt, and we're all calling him the combat sports GOAT, that's just hilarious. That's so good. Guys, these are the things that is making UFC 291 so extremely exciting. This is the kind of pay-per-view where there is just so much on the line as we get into the entire card, like Tony Ferguson, the end of his career, Pereira building himself up to be the champ, not double belt holder at the same time, but to win 2 championships in different weight classes in the UFC. And then Gaethje and Poirier, they're like at the end of their career essentially. Someone's going on and someone's going home. They've both talked about how they're sick of it. UFC 291 is the card for the fans. I am so pumped going into it. Guys, who do you think is going to win this fight? Do you think Jan Błachowicz is going to out-grapple or out-kickbox Alex Pereira? I mean, Błachowicz held his own and, in my opinion, out-kickboxed Israel Adesanya. Like, he is a really underrated kickboxer, especially in MMA with MMA gloves. So how do you see it going? Do you see Błachowicz being able to stand and bang with Pereira? Do you see Pereira winning via knockout? What do you think? I think Pereira is going to win via knockout. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you guys have been enjoying these videos, maybe consider subscribing, and I will see you all in the next one.